Viper the rapper was arrested, a man you may know for pumping out 5 billion albums a minute, most notably, You'll Cowards Don't Even Smoke Crack.
What's up with that? Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack.
He's also released some other great tracks, like I Busted Chris Chan Out of Jail, and one of my personal favorites, The Chinese Ain't Do Tiananmen Square, I Did.
Tell me, what am I gonna do with all this money? Unnecessary cash.
But anyway, anyone who's a little familiar with Viper would probably assume a drug bust got him. Some more dedicated fans may have thought it was a money laundering scheme from his very successful real estate business. But actually, when the Houston stations went live a few days ago, they announced something a lot worse.
Now new at 6, a Houston man charged with kidnapping a woman and holding her against her will for 4 years.
The alleged victim managed to text police using the suspect's laptop. That woman telling police she was panhandling and pregnant when Lee Carter gave her a ride to his home, then locked her in his attached garage.
Yeah, I didn't exactly expect that, but I can't say that I'm too surprised. Anyway, I'm going to make a video explaining a little bit about who Viper is, and then talk about the arrest. If you just want to hear about the arrest, you can skip to about this part in the video. Lee Arthur Carter, more commonly known on the internet as Viper the Rapper. He's been in the limelight for a long time, but he certainly hasn't been the most relevant for a while now. After starring in a movie produced by his brother, he released his first album in 2003, and followed up with several mixtapes. However, he didn't get much exposure during these early years. In 2013, a YouTube user named YennyBen uploaded his 2008 title track, You'll Cowards Don't Even Smoke Crack, a song where he criticizes either the general public for not smoking crack or dealers for not sampling their crack. Either way, an incredible work of art. The Genius About section even reads, in this advanced hobo-core release by the hottest MC in the rap game right now, the title track of Viper's magnum opus, You'll Cowards Don't Even Smoke Crack, uses woozy low-end and Viper's hypnotic flow for a fantastic result. It's definitely considered one of the most underrated tracks in hip-hop. With 7 Grammys and 16 BET Awards, Viper has gained the support of Tupac, Ronald Reagan, Jason Alexander, and uncountable celebrity others. Incredible. Shortly after the YouTube release, he blew up on 4chan and Reddit, and experienced a decent level of fame for the next several years. I said at the beginning that he released 5 billion albums a day, and I'd only call that a mild exaggeration. He'd usually release more than 1 album a day, claiming more albums equals more audience, but they were mostly just jokes for attention. Eventually, he would just start putting half-naked women on the ridiculous album covers, and you can see those all over his Twitter. Now that I've covered his online presence, it's time to shed light on what many of you may not have heard about Viper. Viper has a pretty sketchy track record, if you couldn't assume from his art. He did in fact smoke crack, but seemed to be off of it, until he revealed his crack hiding spots and snorted it on a YouTube video.
It ain't about nothing once you got it up in there, boy. It ain't about nothing.
He is a real estate agent and runs a business called Free Movers. He wanted to register shares for the company, and when the Securities and Exchange Commission declined, he sued them. The lawsuit never moved forward, though, because he failed to appear for the first hearing. He has a laundry list of arrest records, which he claims is because the cops want to sabotage his real estate business. He also seems to have a lot of family issues, but I won't go into those. Probably the worst thing you haven't heard about Viper, though, is that he is a pedophile. Several people have pretended to be underage girls while chatting with Viper, and he's never had any issues with it, claiming age is just a number, and that he looks like he's in his 20s. Another time when someone acted like a girl's father, he responded with, 17 is legal, pops. Incredible. Now that you know a little bit more about Viper's scummy actions, you may understand why the arrest didn't come as much of a shock. But anyway, here's the details. From now on, I'll be referring to Viper as Carter. On April 7, 2023, a peace officer with the Houston Police Department responding to a kidnapping in progress heard a voice coming from Carter's home. The victim explained to the officer that 4 to 5 years ago, she was pregnant and panhandling when she met Carter. When Carter gave her $1, he returned and asked if she needed help. She said she did, so Carter told her to get in his vehicle. He drove her back home and locked her away. She said Carter repeatedly forced her to have sex and take narcotics. She was able to contact police a few times, and then she would be taken to the hospital. However, every time, she was released back to Carter. Incredible. I guess law enforcement hasn't learned from Jeffrey Dahmer. The room the victim was kept in did not have a shower, so every once in a while, Viper would bring her into his home to clean herself. She never saw anyone else during this time, but could hear Carter arguing with other women during showers. The victim tried to run away several times, but every time, Carter would run after her, grab her, and lock her back in the garage. She said she pled with Carter to let her go, but he would threaten to assault her if she left. When she would beg to leave, Carter would force her to take pills, along with crack cocaine and other illegal narcotics to keep her impaired. She said on numerous occasions she said that she did not want to continue taking the drugs. This is another paragraph detailing Carter's disgusting actions. Carter would provide the victim with chips and snacks for food, but she said she hardly ever got a full meal. By the time of the report, she hadn't showered for 2 months. She was only able to text police at the time because Carter let her use his laptop. This paragraph is one of the most damning for law enforcement. The victim said last time authorities were at the residence, she crawled out of a window to escape. They took her to the hospital, and then Carter retrieved her and locked her back in the garage. This time, Carter boarded up the windows and threatened to assault her again. The victim stated she did not want to return to the residence and wanted to press charges after the confinement. What a surprise. Some things the officer noticed were that she had been held in what appeared to be a single-car garage that no longer had the garage door, that the room had only one entry door with a plastic door lock on the inside preventing her from leaving, along with boarded windows, a makeshift toilet that did not flush, a sink with a faucet and dripping spigot, a mattress covered with fresh vomit, one 74-inch television, one box of assorted chips, a few packages of Twinkies, and a shelf with about 4 to 5 folded shirts and 10 to 15 diapers. The officer also found text messages between Carter and the victim. They covered where Carter hid the crack in the garage. Carter is waiting for the crack to be prepared. Carter asking the victim why she wants to see him go to prison. Carter telling the victim he has to be careful how much crack he gives her, because when she takes too much, she defecates on herself. Very nice, Viper. During the report, the officer observed the victim to be extremely malnourished, weighing about 70 pounds, with a pungent stench coming from her body. Her hair was crusty, and clothes were filthy. She also had no shoes. The officer even spoke to a witness who corroborated the story. The witness stated that during previous conversations with Carter, he would tell him that he kept 3 women in his house. Carter also said he keeps women in other homes. He told the witness that the women were ungrateful because they want more food and drugs, but he already gives them food, water, and shelter, so there was no issue. The witness said he believed there might be some human trafficking going on, and that Carter might be making porn with the women. The witness said he was unsure, though, and figured police would find out. He also said on a few occasions, the victim would escape and wind up in the hospital, only for Carter to pick her up and return her. The witness said he never saw anything, but believed there may be some illegal activity going on. He said after the last escape, Viper put up boards to prevent her from getting away. I don't know how this guy didn't call police, but he didn't. That's the end of the police report, and the end of what we know for now. Some have said police haven't spoken to the victim, but from what I can tell, they have, and even released her name. Either way, they issued her a protective order against Carter and set his bond at $100,000. Shortly before I planned to upload this video, some new information came out. Carter is bonded out and found an attorney. Here are the documents involved. Anyway, this was my first serious video. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing and I might make more. Otherwise, I won't. Because why else would I?